Hey everyone, we are moving on from systems and we were going to look at some angle relationships. Before you maybe view this video, you may want to check out the organizer on the rules for vertical angles, alternate interior, alternate exterior, because that'll make this a little bit easier. All right, so I'm going to go through a few of the questions. I'm going to show why they are where they are. And let's take a look at the first one. So they say below are two parallel lines with a third intersecting them. So you can see here, you have 80, and then you see you're looking for this value of x. All right. So we have to figure out what the relationship between these two are. So here are my parallel lines, and that's denoted by these little guys here. And it's cut by this transversal. And let's take a look. So we have the 80, which is on the top of the parallel lines on one side, and then we go to the other side of the transversal, and it's underneath the parallel lines. So this should give you a clue that it's alternate because it's on either side of the transversal. And then you have to decide whether it's interior or exterior. And if it's outside the parallel lines, it's going to be exterior. Okay, so the answer for this is going to be just 80. Okay, so these questions are either going to equal each other or they're going to equal 180. All right, so those are going to be your two ways to figure out these angles. So we're going to take a look at the next one. So we have the 34 on the inside of the parallel lines, and then we also have we have one on the outside but on the same side. So I don't want you to get confused with this one as opposed to the first one. If we talked about this in class, when we're on the first floor, if we're in 104, then if we go to the second floor, the same position would be 204. So that's pretty much what this is saying here. So if this is classroom 104, then this is 204, and they're in the same position, which means they should equal about the same. And these questions too, you can kind of see that the angle measures look relatively the same. So I'm gonna put in x equals, so this one just equals the same. And if you want to start figuring out the remainder of the angles, you can do that as well. So if this is 34, this is also 34. And in order to find out the angle that's adjacent, which means it's next to, you can do 180 minus 34, and you will get 146. And if this is 146, this is also 146. And the same would apply for up here. It'd be the same pattern. Okay, so if we remember this from class, it'll be a little bit easier, but check out the organizer on these rules. So I'm going to show you one more. So it says below are the two parallel lines with a third line intersecting them. So we have this guy here, the 125, and this one here. Now the pictures do change a bit, and I don't want you to get confused by that. So this one here is a little tricky. So if you notice, we have one on the outside of the parallel lines, we have one over here, but they're not in the same position as they were before. So this one's not going to equal each other. So let's try to figure this out. If they don't equal each other, that means they have to equal 180. So we just have to solve from here. We're going to subtract 125 and subtract 125. We'll typing today. And once you do that, you should get x equals 55. If that's a little tricky for you, you could also figure out the angles up top and then apply them to the bottom. So the one right across from the 125 would be also 125. And then you have to figure out those other two angles. And if you look right across from it, it's going to be a straight angle, which means it equals 180. So if you did 180 minus 125, you would have gotten 55. Once you figure out all these angles, you then can place them in the same positions below. Okay, and then you would have noticed that the 55 would have went there. Okay, so if you have any questions, let us know, and also check out our organizer.